Well, my testimony is a little bit different. Just a little bit. Just. Basically, I had the same start that his testimony said. You know, I was born and raised in church. Started out little kid. As soon as I was born, you know, the next chance my mom got to take me to church was at church, and I was there, and from then on I started going to church. Born and raised in Indiana, been here all my life, don't know anywhere else, don't really go anywhere. Chicago is probably the farthest I go for vacation or anything like that. Like I said, I was born and raised in church. Have a family. We have 7 of us all together. And Sandra and Alex are my brother and sister. They're right there. They sang with us a little bit earlier. We all sing. I love to sing. Music is my life. Besides God, as number 1, music's right up there. I've been going to church all my life, like I said, and I wouldn't do anything else. About 5 years ago, coming to September, something drastic happened in my life. I was in high school, and I was a freshman in high school, and you know, as a freshman in high school, I'm a dorky little freshman, as skinny as you see I am. I'm really skinny, all nerdy, you know. What we have at the high school I went to, they have school camp. Every September, the beginning of September, they go to camp, and they basically just have a summer camp for school. No one has to pay, they pay for it all, and you just go. Well, you know, because I'm the skinniest guy in my grade, the guys were throwing guys up, you know, and catching them. So, me being the skinniest guy, they said, "Oh, look, there's Daniel." So, 8 big old guys went and got me, you know. They formed a circle, and they put me in the middle, and they said, "Hey, let's throw them up." I said, "Sure, you know, have at it. You know, I'm going to flop like a fish in the air." So, they get me, they throw me up. 1, 2, 3, boom, catch me. Throw me another time, 1, 2, 3, boom. You know, the third time they go to throw me up, 1, 2, 3. I come down. When I came down, one of the guys on the end didn't catch my head. So there was a concrete floor, or it was concrete or cement. When they caught me, they caught my body, but my head went boom, ricocheted right off the concrete. Well, I didn't have my head didn't bust open or anything like that. I just had a big old goose egg, you know, everybody's laughing. So it was fine with me. If everybody's laughing, I'll laugh with everybody else. So I'm fine, I'm tough, you know. Later that night, I did go to a Christian school, we had chapel. Later that night, I was sitting in chapel, you know, I didn't feel good. Something was wrong. I had never felt this way before. I didn't know, you know, what to do, because I had never felt this way before, so I didn't know, should I tell someone? I just sit there. This really weird feeling. I don't know what this is. Well, next thing I know, I wake up and I'm on a stretcher going inside the ambulance. And I looked at him, I said, "What happened?" And you know, I looked at him and I said, "What happened? Like I'm drunk or something." And he said, "You just had a full-blown grand mal seizure." And I looked at him, I said, "What? Like, what is that?" I had no idea what a seizure was. Like I said, me as a dorky freshman, I didn't know what life was. So, you know, in the ambulance, you know, I was looking at him, I was like, "Okay, let's go to the hospital." I have no idea what's going on. We get to the hospital, they're checking me out. No one found anything. I went home, they said, you know, you don't need to continue camp. That was the first night of camp, actually. They said, you don't need to continue camp, you gotta go home. So I went home that night, and ever since then, I've been having seizures. I'm not gonna blame it on anyone. I'm not sure if that's a problem. We kind of figured that it was head trauma, but who knows? Only God knows. Ever since then, I've been having seizures for about 5 years now. I'm epileptic, I am. They diagnosed me with epilepsy a couple years ago. Recently, I had a seizure 2 weeks ago, and I'm still having seizures to this day, especially if I don't take my medicine recently, you know. And I was fed up with it. My my body has been going downhill since then. You can ask my sister and my brother. You know, I forget stuff so easily, and it's not even funny. Like to say, "Hey, Daniel, do you remember this?" No, what are you talking about? So it's a pain. Like I said, it happened a couple weeks ago, and after I woke up, you know, I didn't even know where I was at first. It was, you know, and then when I came more to, I just started bawling, and, you know, I looked up and I said, "Why?" And people are around me, and "What are you talking about?" I said, "Why?" I said, "I hate this. This is terrible. I've been doing this for 5 years now. I didn't do anything wrong to God. God, what did I do? I didn't do anything to hurt you. I didn't turn my back on you. I've been going to church. I've been doing your will. You know, what did I do to deserve this? I'm epileptic. I have a seizure at least once a week. You know, when I wake up, I don't know what's going on. You know, I could wake up and, you know, I've woken up sometimes. I've pulled a hamstring before, you know, from falls. So many things, so many stories, especially Josh. Josh has been there a lot for me during the seizures. And I thank you for that. But I looked at God and I looked him straight in the face and I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Why are you doing this to me?" You know, and that was a couple weeks ago. You can ask my mom, and I went home bawling my eyes out. And she understood. She just didn't know, like, you know, what the main problem was. And I said, "You know, Mom, I hate it." And she said, "I know, I hate it too." She said, "I got to deal with it with you." I said, "No, Mom, I hate it." I said, "I have to deal with this. I'm afraid that I'm never going to remember you one day when I wake up from a seizure. I'm afraid that one of these days I'm going to wake up, I'm not going to be able to move my mouth, and I'm going to be sitting here just staring at you, and all I'm going to be able to do is hear you and stare at you because I'm going to be a vegetable in a wheelchair." I said, "That's what I'm afraid of." I said, "I'm not going to lose you." I said, "I hate this." I said, "I don't want to deal with this anymore." You know, she sat me down. Yeah, I'm sorry. She sat me down and she opened up the Bible and she turned it to Romans 8:28, you know. And as soon as she opened up that verse, I looked at her and I said, "Mom," I said, "are you kidding me?" She opened up the Bible and I said, "Really?" And she said, "Read the verse." And I know this verse since I was 4 years old. And, you know, I know this verse since I was 4 years old. You want to come up? And this verse, as soon as she read it, I never thought about it this way before. And she said, "Read the verse." She said, "Read it out loud." I said, "Okay." I read the verse and it was Romans 8:28. "And we know that all things work together for good to them who love God, to them who are called according to his purpose." She said, no matter what goes on in our lives, she said, no matter what's in your life, no matter what happens, maybe down the road it will happen. Maybe when you're 85, it'll happen. She said, "But to them that love God, things are going to work out." She said, God didn't say things are going to work out the way you want them to. God didn't say, you know, "I'll bless you with what you said, with what you want me to bless you to." No, God said things are going to work out for the good. And that's his good and his glory. And, you know, I looked at her, I melted like the witch from the Wizard of Oz, you know, and I didn't know what to do. And, you know, ever since that, you know, I thought in my mind, you know, there's going to be some hard times. And no matter what's in your life, God's going to be there. You know, you may look to your left, you may look to your right, and he's not there. And people are not there, I'm sorry. And you may look behind you, and may look in front of you, and no one's going to be there for you.